Good morning. It is another lovely Thursday here in Hammond, Indiana. You're listening to PNW Today, streaming live on WJOB and JED TV. My name is Cale Wilk. I serve as Communications Specialist in the Office of Marketing Communications at Purdue Northwest, and I'm very excited for what we have in store today on the PNW Today program because we're going to be talking all things student life and housing. And there's a fantastic cast to be able to help speak on these topics. So just to go ahead and go down the line and introduce who else that we have in the studio joining us today, we have Janai Gordon, who is our Director for Student Life. Janai, thank you so much for being here on this Thursday morning.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. We also have Sal Cordova, who is no stranger to the PNW Today program. He is our Assistant Director for Student Life. Sal, thank you so much for joining us once again on the program.
Thanks for having me.
And we have Molly Bowler, who is our Student Government Association president and is a fourth-year psychology major at PNW. Molly, thank you so much for being here on the PNW Today program this morning.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Everyone's feeling good and positive. It's bright and early
Yes.
on this Thursday morning, but to go ahead and start out this particular segment for PNW Today, we're going to be talking all things student life. And before we jump into that topic, just to give a quick rundown of some upcoming events. As if anybody is streaming via video and YouTube, you will see that we are all matching the blackout theme that we have for homecoming. And we've been having a number of celebrations this week. It's all going to culminate on Saturday with Homecoming Sports Fest. Now, it's one of our great fall semester traditions that we have, where we invite members of the campus community and the public to come and rally around multiple PNW Pride sports teams. We're going to have our women's and men's soccer teams, tennis, softball, baseball, and ice hockey all in action between 11 a.m. and 5 p.m. on Saturday, September 13th at Dowling Park and the Cube. If you want to be able to learn some more information about all that's going to be happening there, visit pnwathletics.com or pnw.edu/sports-fest to find out more information and to also register to be able to get your tickets. If you are a PNW alum and you're interested in finding out information about next steps for your career or networking with potential employers, our lovely folks at the Career Center are going to be hosting the 2025 Fall Career Expo. That's going to be on Tuesday, September 23rd at the Fitness and Recreation Center, and that's going to be from 3 to 6 p.m. If you would like to learn more information as well as to register, you can visit pnw.edu/career-center. Also coming up this weekend, we're going to be having the first session of the 2025 season of the PNW Sinai Forum. So we're going to have renowned photographer Platan, who is going to be starting on Sunday, September 14th with his program. And overall across the season, from December to about, December, let's try that again, September to early December, we're going to have 5 different renowned speakers that are going to be presenting on a number of different fascinating topics. And if you would like to find out more information about tickets, you can visit pnw.edu/Sinai-forum. And I'll just give one quick shout out to our great friends at Gabus Arboretum at Purdue Northwest. On tomorrow is going to be the last concert of the Acorn Concert Series. It's going to be featuring a Prince tribute music act. And then coming up on October 3rd, you can mark your calendars, we're going to have Oaktoberfest, like the oak tree, Oaktoberfest, and you can enjoy the autumn atmosphere and a live performance from Santeria, a tribute to Sublime. And if you would like to find more information out about those events, pnw.edu/Gabus is the place to go, Gabis. All right. So for anyone just tuning in, again, we are talking about all things student life at Purdue Northwest and all the opportunities that students have to be able to enhance their academic careers while they're here at the university. So to go ahead and start out the program here and our talking points that we would like to be able to share, Janai and Sal, as folks that have been involved for a good while here at the university with student life programming, what do you see as the values and the benefits of PNW students taking an interest in the co-curricular opportunities that are available for them.
Sure. Oh gosh. Yeah. So lots of opportunities for other students to essentially come on campus and meet other students. That social aspect is really important for our students. Being able to make new friends, possibly make some memories, and have long-lasting relationships after they leave the university is very, very important for our students to have. Um, for coming to those activities. Students that are also engaged in those activities, they have uh, lots of networking opportunities with other faculty, staff. Some student organizations plan their own networking opportunities where they work to bring employers onto campus, and that's very helpful to them.
Absolutely.
I think that a lot of parents may have, when they were in college, they knew of co curricular activities as extracurricular activities. Co curricular activities align with what you're studying in your major and helping you grow your network within your major or your interests. And so our co curricular record tracks as students go to different programs. Um, those programs that they've attended, as well as leadership opportunities that they've taken, whether that's being a leader of an organization or putting on a program. So when they graduate, they have a secondary transcript that they can take with them and hopefully help them articulate to get better and higher paying jobs with wherever they go after they graduate.
Absolutely. Molly, as someone that is here now in your fourth year at PNW, you are involved in a number of different activities at the university. So go ahead and tell us a little bit about where you have your hands in as far as your co-curricular opportunities, and as you've been at PNW, what have you seen as the value in participating in co-curricular opportunities?
So I do stick my hands in quite a few different spots. I'm a proud honor student. I've been since I started, which has been amazing. There's so many different event opportunities and service opportunities. It's wonderful. And then I first got started with the food pantry with Sal and Scott Iverson, which has been so amazing. I work in the pantry now and I'm president of that. And it's been so wonderful to be able to help students and make sure students are fed and just be another resource on campus. Me and Raven Chant, we kind of revamped the LGBTQ Alliance at beginning of spring semester last year. And that has been like such an amazing thing to be able to restart and do again and just have like this sense of community, which has been really, really cool. And then also this year, I'm now SGA president, which like is so cool and so exciting. And I love being able to like network with so many people and meet so many like different faculty and like get opportunities like being here and stuff like that. It's just been amazing. Like I could not like recommend more than to join an org. Like it's so amazing to have a community and be able to do things that you're passionate about.
Absolutely. So, for all three of you, as you get to work together with different students on campus, how do you see them change over time when they have opportunities to be able to participate with student life? Janai, let's go ahead and start with you.
Sure. I think you get to see students grow in real time. They get out of their shell. For example, I have a student who is a part of the Student Life Activities Board where last year she was very quiet. She wasn't sure if she could speak up, and she finally broke through that insecurity, and now she's a part of SGA. She is running different events. She now works for our office, and I've just seen her grow and blossom. And I really enjoy that part of being on a college campus because students tend to find different interests that they might not be aware of, which opens a whole new world to them of opportunities as well as job opportunities. Sometimes students find jobs that they never would have thought of that they could do once they graduate, just based off of their interest in finding a way to combine their major with their interests, which leads them to a life of like pure happiness and joy. So it's been really magical.
Absolutely. Transforming students' lives, changing students' lives. That's what we do every day.
Yeah.
Sal, how about for you? How have you seen students that you've had the chance to network and interact with? How have they changed?
Yeah, I feel like more lights come on. You kind of see the oh, I get it now. Like I know kind of how the university works. You see students feel more comfortable, more willing to share their opinions and thoughts. Um, you see students communicate more, and that's always really fun. Working with even some of the students that work in our office, just from start to graduation, is an awesome opportunity to kind of just be able to witness.
Excellent. So, Molly, as you've progressed across your academic career, how do you feel that you yourself have transformed from when you started as a student to where you are now?
See, I feel like I started and I was like, I get up, I go to class, and then I go home. And then I like very slowly started to get more like interested in like different things around campus and like seeing things like posted on like flyers and like my PNW life and like stuff like that and just seeing it everywhere. I was like, okay, this is really cool. And like I got involved with pantry because Maya Bell was running down the hallway in SULB saying that we have like a food pantry meeting and I was like, okay, I guess I'll go. And now I'm very much a part of that, and that's like one of my favorite things that I do is like I'll go. Um and I feel like I went from like I guess I'll do it to like I want to be doing all of these things and like it's something that I'm seeking out and not just something that's like running down the hall to me.
Absolutely. But, hey, when fate happens like that, I
Yeah.
mean, go ahead and go through the open door. So, as we're talking about different opportunities for students to be involved on campus, we have 90 plus student organizations. I mean, that's a big number when you think about it. 90 for the different interests that students can go ahead and get involved with. And that ranges from clubs and organizations that are academic focused to some of those that are perhaps more leisure focused, for example. So, for our two student life leaders, tell us a little bit about what are some of these different opportunities that students are able to take advantage of.
So I always like to highlight that we have a paranormal club. So they have different programs throughout the semester. Last year they did a program, I think it was around Halloween, where they went across campus with their equipment and listened to see if they could hear anything, if they sensed anything, um, in the hallways of different buildings. And it was like a great program because a lot of students came out and they had great experiences. And I think from that, students, were able to join the group, and that group has grown exponentially, actually. And then they've also created other groups based off of the interests of the students in that group. And then we're also working on growing our Greek life. So right now we have 6 organizations on campus. They are minority, historically like minority Greek life organizations or multicultural organizations. So we are trying to expand that group out so that more students can get involved in Greek life if they would like and build their network and just find ways to help them, advance their careers and their just support systems around school and around the country.
Absolutely. Sal, how about for you?
Yeah, I think one we got to highlight for sure is that Student Life Activities Board. It's a group of students that helps advise our office, as well as plan some of their own activities for the general student body. They do a lot of really great work. They're very excited about a trick or treat program that they're going to hold in the Student Union Library building later in October. But some other groups that are working to get registered. There's a creative writing club that's working on getting registered, and a beekeepers club as well. So lots of exciting things in the wings for students. There's so many opportunities with 90 organizations. There's something for you out there. So it's awesome.
Absolutely. And I'll just tack on and just say that there's a lot in a number of these organizations. There's also academic interests that can also be enhanced as well. So just thinking off the top of my head, our Society of Automotive Engineers groups with SAE Baja and SAE Formula One. If you like doing either working on a race car type endeavor and you are inclined to want to be involved in engineering or technology, either of those organizations, for example, are great ways that
Oh
as a
yeah,
PNW student, you can get involved. And we know that they are very dedicated because they do put in a lot of late
they
nights, but
work
that
very
just,
hard.
Yeah.
but it does speak to the passion that they have in order to complete their projects.
Can I also mention a few more?
Sure.
The esports club, our esports club team, they actually ranked 12th in the nation last year. I don't know what games though. I'm still learning. They play a lot of tournaments. And then our nursing club has been very active, and they do a lot of different programs as well as our psychology clubs. They do a lot of programming for different mental health study sessions, and then they do a lot of community service too.
Excellent. So, as our guests have shared, a lot of different outcomes that occur both for oneself as you're involved in the organization, but also for what you're doing for the campus community as well as the communities that are around us and who we serve. I want to circle back to one of the great points that Janai brought up about the co-curricular record that is a part of the My PNW Life platform and how that helps serve as a nice, well, record of, for lack of a better word, that is the best word to use, a record of what you have accomplished and what you have learned during your time being involved with the student organization. So, Janai, please review for us again one more time how the
Sure.
co-curricular record helps with that.
So there's several ways that the co-curricular record helps students track their experiences. It tracks every event that they attend. So if they came to things at homecoming, they received like it documented that, so they can refer back to that. It documents their community service hours as well. It also documents any leadership roles that they may have. So if they serve on the executive board, for example, of like the psychology club, that gets tracked in that record. So by the time they graduate, whether they leave, whenever they leave, they will have a documentation that shows everything that they've attended as well as all of the organizations they've been a part of, even including Study Away. And then also they will receive badges that they can upload to their LinkedIn account that never expire. So they can always showcase all of that information, and when they click on it, that information is there in those badges.
Excellent. Thank you. And one of the other, great things about participating with student life at PNW is that you're able to participate within your capacity and within your abilities. So Molly, I'm going to turn to you again as our wonderful student guest here. So what do you like to be able to tell students about how they can best allocate their time and resources to be involved with student life? Because students have academic commitments, they have commitments that are happening in their family life, maybe they're working as well. And so, what do you like to be able to tell students about how they can best contribute to different organizations?
I mean, I feel like the best thing is just like doing what you can, like in your means. Like, don't overwork yourself trying to go to like a club meeting. It's a club. Like, I feel like there's also that like difference of like know like things that like are most important and like go to your classes. Make sure your family's okay. Make sure that you're okay. And then if you have time, go do all the clubs that you want to do. And also, I feel like it's a really good one really good thing is to be able to like visualize your time. So like if you could like I love spreadsheets. I'm weird. I know that. But like you can put a spreadsheet in and you can make a little like pie circle. And if one is like huge, gigantic, and it's like some random thing, it's like, okay, maybe I could cut down on that and I could like have a second to breathe. Or I could go to this like fine arts club meeting, or I could go to this theater meeting, stuff like that. So that you can like make that time for yourself and go do something like artistic, or you can learn about like psychology, or if you're a nurse, you can go to like your nursing club stuff. Like I feel like it's definitely more of a personal like thing of like what you feel like you can do, and also just knowing that like you can say no to people if like it feels like it's too overwhelming. There's nothing wrong with being like, "Hey, no thank you. I need to step back for a second." And then there's also that those times where like you have so much free time and you're like, "Okay, I can do this." It's more of just like a balance for yourself because like everybody has the same 24 hours, but not everybody can do the same things in those 24 hours, and that's okay.
Absolutely. So, what is your biggest piece of advice or piece of advice that you like to be able to give for your peers about time management then in that aspect?
Make a Google Calendar so that you can see it and color code it. and make sure that you're giving yourself time to like breathe and decompress from life because it's hard.
Got it. Excellent. Thank you very much.
Good advice.
So, as we've been progressing along in the fall semester, what have been some of the highlights that have happened so far this academic year, and what do we have to look forward to in the near future?
Oh, welcome rally. Welcome rally is always that highlight at the start of the school year. We get together, welcome the students back on each campus. Hundreds of students on each campus. We give out tons of food, shirts, and connect students with those resources and clubs so that they know who they can go to, where they can go. That one's always a blast.
I would say homecoming. Leo's birthday is my favorite, mostly because we get cake, but also because students get to meet other, like some of the different sports teams. So yesterday we had the women's soccer team that they came to Leo's birthday, and so it was a way for students to meet some athletes as well as celebrate Leo and his birthday, and then get photos with him as well.
Excellent. And so looking ahead during this fall semester, what are some of the key events that the Office of Student Life has on the docket?
We have the fireworks coming up on October 4th in Westville. It'll happen in DSAC parking lot. There will be music, food, and some inflatables. I don't know what else to do. Oh, Dino Week is in 2 weeks. If you're interested in dinosaurs, there will
Dinosaurs
be
taking over the main
some
zone.
live puppets, like human size, adult size, I guess, puppets. So you can take pictures with them. We can dig for dinos or color, like paint some dinos. And then there was another one we talked
The
about.
homecoming dance is today.
Oh, yeah.
It's from 6 to 9 for our students. So we're very excited about that as well.
Hmm.
Excellent. So time flies very fast on the PNW Today program, and we're ticking down for our last few minutes that we have. So to help round out the program, I want to be able to tee up the question for all of you, just going down the line here. What are the biggest pieces of advice that you would give to a curious student or a prospective student that was considering what student organizations that they might wish to be a part of? We'll start with you, Janai.
I would say be open to just going to a meeting. If you read a name, go ahead and find out when their meeting is. You never know if that group will be something that you become very passionate about. And don't be afraid to like explore your passions. You know, there might be something you have an interest in, and it's okay to explore it. But also make sure you go to your classes, like Molly was saying. Classes come first, but make time for yourself, and usually find at least one organization to join each year, so that you have some sort of like third place to go or outlet for yourself.
Absolutely. Molly, how about for you?
So kind of like with like what Janai said, even just finding one org is really helpful. And like I feel like a good way to find it is just like looking at like the like different like flyers that are up, or like even just like going on my PNW life and being like, I'm bored right now. What's happening today? Like what club is having a meeting or a call out or anything. And like I can assure you, if you walk into a random club meeting, they're all gonna be like, hey, how are you? And they're gonna accept you. Don't like be scared to like walk into a random meeting and be like, hey. So yeah.
Yeah,
Excellent.
I think I want to reiterate some of that message. Engage with the student platform. Engage with My PNW Life. Check it daily. What is happening today? Where are the free food opportunities? Where can I get a free shirt? What might I have time for in between or after classes? Ask yourself that question. Go on My PNW Life. Look at the 90 groups. See what opportunities are available to you, and then don't be afraid if you think, well, this I think is something is missing. Talk to us and let's start a new organization. It's very exciting. There's so many things to do, so why not?
Excellent. And also, I guess just to augment that, there's a lot of great campus space to be able to host your events. That ranges from the main zone to a number of other facilities that we have on campus. And we can help accommodate those interests as well as the different events that you'd be interested in hosting. And of course, because I love to be able to shout out website URLs, pnw.edu/student-life is a great website resource to be able to look at. Just as Sal was mentioning, if you want to find out more about the 90 plus student organizations that we have, as well as what it means to be a part of student life at Purdue Northwest, that's the place to go. pnw.edu/student-life. So we have just hit 8:30 a.m. We are going to go ahead and transition to our next topic, which is going to be on university housing. So stick around. We'll be back in a few minutes. But until then, thank you, Janai, Molly, and Sal for joining us on this first segment of PNW Today. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to the PNW Today program, streaming on WJOB as well as being a part of WJOB and JED TV podcasts. Again, this is Cale Wilk, the communications specialist in the Office of Marketing Communications at Purdue Northwest. And for our second segment of today's program, we are going to be talking about student housing at Purdue Northwest. Got a lot of good things to be able to talk about with university housing. So the guests that we have joining us for this segment include Rachel Jones, who is the Director of Housing and Residential Education at PNW. Rachel, thank you so much for being here today.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
We have Carlton Daca, who is a third-year computer information technology major at PNW, as well as the University Village Council President. Mr. President, thank you so much for being here today.
It's good to be here.
And last but not least, we have Scott Iverson, who is our Assistant Vice Chancellor for Housing and Student Life at PNW. Scott, thank you so much for being here this morning.
Thanks. Good to be here, Cale.
So to go ahead and start out this program, how about to just give an overview about student housing at PNW? Rachel and Scott, please tell us a little bit about what is University Village and what is the current outlook for student housing at PNW?
Yeah, so University Village consists currently of two of our apartment-style buildings, Peregrine Hall and Griffin Hall, and they each hold about 400 students in suite-style housing, which means that you would come in and you have kind of a completely contained apartment. We have 4 bedrooms that house between 4 and 6 students, and then we have 2 bathrooms, one on each side, and then a shared kitchen and common area, living room kind of place. So you really get that apartment-style feel. But starting in fall 2026, we're going to open Calumet Hall, which listeners may have seen if they've driven past 173rd and Woodmar. We've got some construction going on over there. That's going to be our first traditional style residence hall on campus, so we're really excited where you're going to see the more traditional style of we have some common area bathrooms and a common kitchen, but all of the rooms, all the bedrooms are kind of lined up next to each other in single and double rooms, and so we're really excited because we're now able to offer this additional style of living to our students, so they're going to have a lot more options coming up in fall 26.
We've come a long
Absolutely.
way. Like, it's been really cool. Like, this is, maybe people don't know this is our 20th anniversary of having housing on this campus. And so it's kind of cool to have that kind of Calumet Hall being built kind of in front of us to kind of see the evolution, the next step of where housing is going on the PNW campus. And so, because we built housing in 2005, and now here we are in fall of 26, we're going to open up this new building. So that's cool.
Absolutely. Carlton, as again, you're a third-year computer information technology major at PNW. You're involved in a leadership role with University Village. You're also a residential assistant. So tell us, why is it that you felt that getting to have an on-campus living experience was important for you in coming to PNW?
Well, it was important for me because I was international, so I didn't have like a lot of options like coming here for the first time ever, and so I came to a place where I was told it would be my home away from home, and I think it's done a great job at offering what it promised. So I ended up staying since I was a freshman.
Excellent. And you've also decided, hey, I want to go ahead and take a leadership role in this, and we are going to get into that as well a little bit later here in the program to be able to talk about how you've been able to want to make an impact and a difference for the peers that you have in student housing. So in an overall sense, and I'll open this up to everyone here, what would you say, in your view, are a lot of the benefits and the outcomes of getting to have a residential experience during your time at college?
I mean, I think it's, it's this idea of students going to college and getting some independence, right? Like there are students who sometimes maybe have a choice. Can I live with my parents, or do I move into housing? And I think moving into housing gives you that opportunity to kind of think about what it's like to cook your own food, to do your own laundry, to just take some of these steps that maybe, and then have that support around you with RAs and the housing staff right there with you. And to me, that's a really important aspect of the campus housing experience, is that journey from kind of to independence for these students.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say living alone for the first time is really, really hard, right? And so, kind of like Scott said, and building off of that, having that safety net of having RAs around you, of having professional staff that live in your building and that work in your building and can be there to be like, hey, you might be getting a little off track here of where you want to be and what you want to do. Let's get you reoriented. Let's make sure that you're moving in the right direction. Just having somebody there. It's like training wheels for living alone is what it is a little bit, right? In the sense that we're not going to be the ones pushing you, right? Like, you're powering the bike, but we're there just to make sure you're not falling off. And I'll also say that there's a lot of benefit to just being on campus. I usually tell students, if you're on the fence and you can live there at least for the first year, do it for the first year. Because there's no replacing those connections that you make and that time that you have when everybody else is in the same position as you. You've all come to the school, you may or may not know other people, but you're looking to figure out who you are as a person and who you are moving forward in your adult life. And there's nothing like having a community of peers around you who are doing the same thing, to have those connections, to be able to figure out who you are at the same time that other people are, and bounce ideas and have those really important interactions. And then you're also just here where the stuff is happening. I mean, student life just talked about a ton of things that they've always got going on with clubs and events and formal and informal things happening all around campus. And it's hard to do that if you have to plan to come to campus to do it. But if you're already here and then you get a text message or an email, you could be like, oh man, let me just jump over there. It's already happening. Same for going to professor office hours and stuff like that. It's so nice to not have to schedule those things, to find a time to make sure that you're here. When you live here, you can just kind of pop over to the other side of campus and do it.
Well, before we started, I was telling these two a story about the promo video that we used to show when I first started. Featured a student who said, talked about that academic connections and the stuff that Rachel just talked about, and they finished their little spiel with, and I can wake up 5 minutes before my class and get there on time, which I thought was cool.
Yeah, I think it's also to build on to Rachel's point. I think it's important to people tend to underestimate living on campus, but you're living in this at the same time with everyone else doing it for the first time too. So it's like you build your community, you discover yourself at the same time you discover other people too, which you'll never have a chance to do that again, because life takes you on different journeys. But like college is the first time where you're it's everyone in the same place, everyone's trying to get together and finish their goals, and it's they say it takes a village, and I think it truly changes your college experience having those kind of people around you.
It takes a university village.
It takes a university.
There we go.
We have our newest tagline.
Nice. Absolutely.
Prepare the sweatshirts.
So, Scott and Rachel, in your professional careers, you've accumulated a great amount of experience in guiding and mentoring students in residential life and education. What is it that has inspired you to stick with this career path? Rachel, I'll go ahead and tee it up for you.
Okay, I get to go on the spot first?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. I hope everybody's listening.
We are all ears.
I think for me, a lot of it is down to finding those ways to improve lives of students and to do something meaningful. And I think it started for me as a one-on-one, right? I became an RA. So I'm of the generation that watched Felicity. Felicity was a couple years older than me. I always tell this joke, that's why I became an RA,
Right,
because
yeah.
Felicity did it on TV. And I didn't know much about the job, but when I got into it, I realized, I really, really enjoyed that that one-on-one, and then as you kind of move along in your career, you realize that you can go from making impacts one-on-one. You still get to do that, right, in limited ways, but you also get to create these systems that support and help students. And just the way, for me, that housing especially has changed as a field in the way that we view our relationship to students, I think, in the past 10 to 15 years, and the things that we do, like I said, to do some of those course corrections is really, really meaningful. And so you get to see, you're constantly getting new crops of students where you're getting to help them, right? But you also get to share a little piece of those great celebrations and victories that they have all the time. And that there's just no replacing that in life.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Felicity came out when I was in college, and so
Yeah.
so that's and so watching that, like I was like, this isn't exactly right.
Yeah, that's
RAs aren't always
super
falling in love
correct.
with residents and dating and
Well.
and stuff like that. Yeah, but I do think that for me,
try.
it's been about the impact. Rachel kind of hit on that, like what we see with the students, what we see, and how they evolve, and our ability to kind of impact that and be a part of that. It's just I found within that a passion. I didn't. When I became an RA, I didn't set out to think this was going to be my career. I didn't know for sure. I was a communications major, but I didn't know for sure where it was going to take me. But I had someone tap me on the shoulder and say, "Hey, you can do this as a career." And I began to really think about it. And the more I kind of got into it, and the more I got then my my master's degree in college student personnel and some other things, and the more experiences I had, the more opportunities I had to really think, "Wow, this is." Yes, I'm impacting these students for however long they're here, and then they go off and they do these wonderful, great things. And I think about that. I had a part of that journey, and I'm a part of that. Wherever they are and wherever they go, and that they even if it's indirect, even if it's because it's staff I supervise or me, a conversation that maybe I had with them, encouraging them to stick with something, And I think now, I get to have fun. Like you think about you want to do a career in something that's going to be good for you for for your mental well-being, and when you come into work every day, I get to have fun and interact with students and attend programs and eat lots of pizza and all sorts of other things with the students too. And so it's a lot of fun to be in this profession too.
It's a pretty good gig.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, circling back to one of the points that was brought up, so we're talking about pop culture and media. There's a great crew here to also be able to dispel what are some misconceptions that perhaps happen about housing on campus, and what is truth?
Yeah.
Well, one of the misconceptions I know, like I've seen, especially with like pop culture and media, is that housing is only for freshmen. Like it's one of those things where it's like everyone's in like it's your first time in college and you live on campus kind of thing. But living there myself, I've realized we have such a variety of different people that it's like it's everyone. You could have grad students, you could have sophomore, you could have people who like left college, came back, and it's like it's those experiences and those like different opportunities to meet these people that you learn a lot from. Like I know I've learned a lot of things, and it's like I think there's such an enrichment opportunity.
Excellent.
I mean, I think that when I see, you think about like the parties, the wild parties, and the things that you see in the movies and stuff, people running around the halls doing silly things, and sure, we have a lot of fun. Like I think Rachel and Carlton will tell you that hey, there's a lot of fun that happens in the halls, a lot of stuff that's going on with some of these programs, but it's not like that. Like we have staff there that really work to help the students learn how to interact and grow up and be mature and all that kind of stuff. And sure, there are mistakes that are made and things that happen, but there are people there to guide and mentor and encourage and engage and all those kinds of things. And so that is not what you see in the media with those wild parties in the halls and everybody out sliding down the hall on a slip and slide or whatever. Those are not the kinds of things that you see, very commonly. You do see a lot of programming and fun and interactivity, but not like that.
Animal House lied to you.
Right.
I hate to be the one to break it to you. Yeah, and I'd say that, like we touched on it a bit, but I think a lot of times people think about RAs or staff in the halls, like Scott said, as really being policy enforcers or that side, but that's not really, like that's a piece of our job. But the part of our job that enforces policies is really just about making sure that everybody feels safe and comfortable in the place that they live and gets enough sleep and doesn't have to constantly hear somebody screaming
sure.
through the hallway or sliding through the hallway if you're just trying to get to class. That's gonna add a degree of difficulty. You can't just roll out of bed if there's a slip and slide in the
Right,
hallway.
right, yeah.
I guess you could roll out of the bed into the hallway, roll down the hallway, and then out. But it's going to be more complicated. But our staff is really there to provide that support, right? And to help people kind of figure out who they are, what they want to be, and to figure out how to live in community with each other, and to learn a lot of those important skills that you need to be able to be successful long term.
Absolutely. So I think definitely, the themes that are definitely resonating from this segment as well as the other one is that yes, you are attending classes while you're a student at PNW, but there really is a whole lot more that you're going to be able to pick up if you get involved with student life or you get involved with university housing, and it may be things that you didn't expect.
Okay, what you don't see in media and is those one-on-one conversations and interactions that happen.
Yeah.
Like those informal moments, those moments where it's really important to engage with the students when you see them maybe looking down, or if they look really elated, maybe that you ask them about those things, talk to them about those things, encourage and engage and support. You don't see those times when, very often it's a student staff, but it could be just another resident. You don't see those things that are having those impact on those students. And that's like in media and nowhere can portray that, but that happens all the time in housing.
Excellent. Speaking of the RA experience, Carlton, what inspired you to take on a leadership role with university housing during your time here at PNW?
Well, I decided to become an RA because people told me that I possess qualities of make an excellent RA, and I was like, oh, really? I didn't know that about myself. And I ended up applying, and I got the job, and I would say it was a life-changing experience. It's been a life-changing experience because I worked, this is my second year being an RA, and like the team I've gone to work with is amazing, and I think I've learned a lot about myself and a lot of skills and that can help me with my future. I would say it's been excellent for like mentorship opportunities because my supervisors actually did the same job and they were students here, and so they've gone to it's almost like having like a sensei kind of thing. Like they're passing on actual things they've gone through and like experiences, and I'd say it's amazing.
Excellent. And also, to add on to that, you have a leadership role as the president of University Village Council. So what do you get to do in that role with your peers?
So with University Village Council, I get to represent my fellow residents when it comes to building a bridge between like them and housing administration. So you come talk to us about like things you'd like to see in housing or like an issue you're having, and basically I help to like get it across to leadership. Some of the things we've done, we plan like excellent programming opportunities. We recently just had like a Monte Carlo night. It was casino themed. It was we had like a live dealer. It wasn't actual like gambling, but it was like makeshift gambling. It was actually pretty cool. We actually got the laundry room updated. Like I know a lot of people complained about that, and we got that across to Rachel, and that was something that like people who like just moved in this year won't even know the struggles they had last year. Like it's like I don't know. It's something that it fulfills me because I get to like see the change and I'm like a part of it.
Excellent. And as you've been an RA, have you been able to have opportunities to serve as a mentor in turn for students? And have you also had new experiences while being here on campus?
Absolutely. Basically, so one of my things that I try to remember as an RA is, so I remember what it was like being a freshman year, especially being international. And one thing I try to remind myself always is I try to be the RA I would have wanted during my freshman year. So like, basically, we're always taught in training that we're a resident's first friend, and I think that through that I've gone to like meet some truly amazing people who like have like had a huge great impact on me. Like I through like the RA job I got to like learn about like Dungeons and Dragons. I don't know what that is at all. I got to meet people who would take me to my first hockey game. I don't have hockey back home. So like things like that. And I did not know about the mentorship like opportunity, like how good of an impact it is until recently someone asked me for advice. I was walking down the hallway and they're like, "Hey, you're an RA." Like I knew them from their freshman year and they asked me for advice to like get through school for their sophomore year. I did not know like I would like have someone ask me something like that, like where it's like, oh, like they would actually listen to what I had to say, and it was such a, I don't know, it's kind of, it was really important to me. I was
That's
like,
cool.
wow, I really appreciate it.
It's a big moment.
It was my first person.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, great feedback and comments from everyone there. I really appreciate that. And so, speaking of programming opportunities, I did want to circle back to one of the great points that Rachel made a little bit earlier on this segment, is that student life is certainly organizing with different organizations and leaders to be able to have programming opportunities that are happening on campus, but there's also things that are happening within the residential community. So, what might some of those entail?
Yeah, so there's a lot of things happening formally and informally all the time. Actually, one of the big things that we try to do is to get people out to those things happening with student life to make sure that students know about it. Sometimes it can be hard to, like, if you're an introvert, and especially if you're like a newer student, to try to get up, I guess, the guts, the resolve, right? To walk across campus on your own and enter this event that looked interesting, but you're like, I don't know if I know anybody there, and I don't know what's going to happen, and I'm new. And so one of the great things that RAs do is to take people, to collect people together and take them to that. So then you not only get to meet people in your hall who actually thought that was cool, so you might have some shared interests with those people, but you also have that kind of backup that you need to really step forward, to take that step to go do that thing that you want to do that you might have been a little bit hesitant about. And so those are some of the big things we do. We also host some pretty big stuff that we work with on Student Life or on our own. We just finished up our Welcome Weekend programming a couple weeks ago. All three of us got in a dunk tank. And got dunked a few times by some residents, which was pretty cool. And so that was part of our carnival event that we do. Like Carlton said, we do Monte Carlo, and then we have a dance, all to make sure that first week that everybody gets a chance to get out of their rooms, get connected, and to find that space. But then RAs do a lot of programming too, and we try to do some one-off stuff. Last year when we had a snow day, we collected everybody at the end of the day, because we know, like, if you have a snow day, we switch to remote learning. And so everybody's kind of in their room on the computer all day. So you're probably looking for a way to get out and to do something fun. And so we organized a snowball fight, which the snow was not, was too powdery to work, but that's okay. We kept trying. And that's resilience. So that's an important life skill that we're learning through the snowball fight. And then we also had soup. We went and got soup from a local restaurant, so that we could all just kind of get out and do something fun and sort of celebrate that, right? Because it's, for a lot of students, it might be their first snow day, right? Depending upon where they're from, if they're not from this area of the country, or if they're an international student, they may not have had a snow day before. So kind of finding a way to celebrate that, because snow day is like I mean, yeah, I would say an American rite of passage to have that day when you don't have school.
Yeah.
Which we still have school, but that's okay. That doesn't mean we can't celebrate. School is good.
That's true.
Yeah.
So, and I think there's also partnership. Like, they just had a Welcome Back picnic. That was a partnership with Student Life. They do movies in partnership with Student Life. So there's all sorts of partnership activities that also happen with housing and other places on campus. They have a Thanksgiving dinner, Friendsgiving. That happens as well. So they celebrate some of these different kinds of events, and so they bring the campus to them as well.
What do you have planned this semester, Carlton?
Well, like, for example, I have a ice cream and karaoke night today at like 7
yeah.
p.m.
Oh,
You
cool.
get to like sing your heart out and have some ice cream while you're at it.
Are you inviting the community?
Absolutely.
If you're listening now.
Tell them Carlton sent you.
Yeah, and I actually think it's pretty cool. Like Rachel said, like that snow day, I got to build my first snowman, and his name's Bobby.
Nice.
It was, but it's like experiences like that. Like I would never have gone if I didn't live in housing. It was so random because I don't even think it was planned. It just happened, spur of the moment, and everyone was in their like their jammies with like a cup of soup, and I got like people who were talking about their favorite soups while watching like TV. I think like it was one big happy family, which is so random because it was like a random Monday, but it ended up working out.
One of the cool things about our new building is that it has even more. We already have a good amount of common space for students to gather, but Calumet Hall is going to have even more than we've ever had before. And so I think we're going to see more and more and more of those informal things happening, of people just gathering, and then what started out as a couple of people going to make dinner just sort of becomes an event where a lot of people are there.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of what you see. I would say too, you see people hanging out at the desk and talking in different areas. Carlton just oversaw, or is in the midst of overseeing, the switch of one of our meeting rooms to a game room on one side. So we're creating more spaces for students to engage and to have fun with each other in the halls.
I do wanna
Absolutely.
say,
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say that's actually gonna be pretty cool. We have a couple of arcade games. We have ping pong. We have VR. We have PlayStations. We have a lot of things, and I think it's gonna be like a great hangout space when you're just like you're bored or you're in like in between like classes or you need something to do, and you never know who you could meet there. Like how Scott said, like these life-changing interactions you get to have. You could like end up in like a Pac-Man war with someone who could become your like best friend for the rest of your life, and I think it's like important to have those opportunities.
Agreed.
Excellent. Well, we have a couple of minutes, so just to run through a quick couple things as we round out this segment. If anyone wants to find out some more information about Calumet Hall, which we are expecting to open in fall 2026, that should be opening up space for at least 150 more beds. And as far as University Village goes, I mean, we're, as we like to say, a good problem to have. We've had a wait list running for 4 consecutive years for University Village, so we're going to be very excited to be premiering Calumet Hall in the next year. So pnw.edu/Calumet-Hall, that's a great landing page to be able to go to if you want to be able to learn more about that. And I also do just want to say that if you are a prospective student and you're interested in finding out more about housing, you can come and take a tour at University Village as a part of your visit. So if you go to pnw.edu/admissions or pnw.edu/housing, there are helpful resources that are there where you can find out information about the different amenities and the different expectations for being a part of residential life at Purdue Northwest.
I also strongly suggest people go to their Instagram. I really
Yeah.
enjoy that a lot too.
Yeah, you get a really, we post about a lot of stuff. So you'll see us posting from our policies all the way through to fun stuff we're doing with students and everything in between. If you want to get a good idea of what it's like to live on campus, that Instagram page is the place to go.
Excellent. I appreciate the additional heads up on that. Well, we see our good friend Matt Hansen is waiting in the wings and ready to get underway as well soon. But this has been the PNW Today program for Thursday, September 11th, 2025. Thank you very much for anyone that tuned in and listened. And of course, if you want to be able to catch us, we're on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, as well as on YouTube in case you want to catch past segments. So with that, Rachel, Carlton, and Scott, thank you so much for joining us to be able to talk things all about University Village and housing at PNW. That's going to do it for today. We'll see you next time on the PNW Today program. Take care.